Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Adam from GHL Mastery, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about pipelines. Now, that doesn't sound super exciting and super sexy, but let me tell you that pipelines and what we're going to show you how to map out is the number one way that we've actually been able to sell high ticket builds and make the software of Highlevel make sense to our clients. So even though it's not super sexy to build pipelines and watch a 15-minute long video about pipelines, this could be a massive moneymaker for you in your agency just by understanding how to structure pipelines and lay them out to lay a foundation for you and your clients. If you guys find all of this stuff helpful, please like and subscribe because it really helps the channel and it really helps other GoHighLevel agencies get a hold of this content so that they can help and scale and grow their businesses as well. So guys, stay tuned for the pipelines, AKA what we call them, customer journey. Let's dive in. All right, guys, step number one for every single build that we ever do is going to start with your pipeline, your opportunity. So let's go over to our document over here. We've got our customer journey pipeline. The first half of any pipeline is 99.9% the same every single time because the customer journey process is usually the same, especially when you're doing lead gen for different businesses. We're going to assume that we've got a sales pipeline. So first of all, I'm just going to name the pipeline sales/lead gen pipeline. Okay. Now, typically, what is the very first step in any pipeline? The first step is that you got a new lead. You created a contact, whatever the case may be. So what we're going to do here is we're going to label this 001, which is step one. And there is a reason, a very specific reason that we use 3 digits instead of just which I'll cover when we actually get into the workflow structure. So 001 is going to be a new lead. Well, with every single customer journey, we need to have a goal and an outcome for why that exists. So if we get a new lead, what's the goal and the outcome with that new lead? Well, typically what we see, again, 90% of the time, is it's either to book an appointment or to buy a product. And so we're going to do this example as if somebody was going to be booking an appointment with us. Okay. So here's typically what we see. It doesn't just go from new lead to a booked appointment because there's a lot of things that can happen in between. But the goal of having a new lead is to get them to, nurture them to book an appointment. And so what we often do is we have a new lead stage, and then we want to find out if these leads are good leads or are they bad leads. And so what the next step that we usually do is going to be 002, responded lead, because a responded lead is a good lead. A lead that doesn't respond is not a good lead. And so we're going to do a responded stage here. And then at this point, the goal is going to be to interact with them, whether you're using AI or whether you're using workflow systems to interact. I highly recommend AI. It is way, way better than any workflow that you can build. So we're going to use this stage to let us know that these are all of the leads that came in, and these are the leads that actually replied to our stuff, whether that's an email or a text message. But these leads are now engaged, right? So I'm going to just put that in there, engaged. And then we're going to go to the next step. Now, bear with me here because our philosophy around customer journeys and pipelines is that if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And so we build these pipelines with the idea of lead in to paycheck collected. And so we want to get you progressively moving more and more and more towards that paycheck collected. Whereas if you're not moving towards that, you're actually moving backwards. There are some exceptions, but I'm going to walk you guys through this. Now, again, our initial goal is for a appointment to get booked. And so what we're going to do here, 003, is not going to be the appointment booking. It's actually going to be the appointment no-shows, because that's going to happen, right? People are going to book appointments and they're not going to show up or they're going to cancel. And so if they book the appointment and then they cancel, they're moving backwards in the pipeline because they didn't get to the stage that you wanted them to be in. So we're going to do no-shows/cancellations in this stage here. Okay, now 004 is going to be, you guessed it, booked appointment. And then after booked appointment, this is something that people don't often think about, is that an appointment can go multiple different ways. You can have an appointment that goes really, really well. They're definitely interested and they buy. That's the best case scenario. But you can also have appointments where they're kind of warm. Maybe they're interested, but maybe not. And so what do you actually want to do with these leads? And this is the point where our pipeline is going to be variable based on different use cases and different things for different industries, right? And so what we typically will do here is after the booked appointment, we're going to have appointment outcomes. right? Was it a good appointment? Did the person show up? Did they no show? If they no showed, we're going to move them backwards. But if they showed up and they were kind of interested in what you're doing, they maybe needed a little bit more information, we're going to put them into the next stage of, okay, they showed up for the appointment, but now we need to nurture that lead, right? It's just going to be a long-term nurture sequence, long-term nurture, like so. Okay, the next thing is they showed up, they loved what you had to offer, but they weren't quite sure if they were ready to go right now. Maybe there was financial issues or they needed to talk to their mom. Whatever the case may be, they're definitely interested in your service, but they're not quite ready yet. They got some things to figure out. So this is going to be a 006, and this is going to be warm nurture. So again, a lot of this stuff is going to come from making sure that you're touching base with the client or your clients are touching base with their clients, because this person is in a warm state where they could buy, but they're not quite ready yet. Next one is going to be 007, hot lead, right? This is somebody who got on that call with you. They're like, I absolutely love everything you're talking about. I got to work through a couple of things here or there. I got to get my finances in order, whatever the case may be. This is now a situation where you need to be on top of that lead every single day to make sure that you're going to push that sale through, because if we're not here to make sales, what are we here for? Okay, hot lead. And now the next one is, let's just say, we're just going to make this one really, really simple, but this is going to be 008, closed deal, closed one. Okay, so that is effectively your pipeline in a very, very simple manner. But what could a different pipeline potentially look like? Well, let's just say you've got a hot lead, but in order for that lead to close, you need to sign a contract. Well, now we need to add some new stages in here so that we can track the customer journey from the contract perspective. So now we're actually I'm going to get rid of 008 here, and we're going to change that later, but because we're going to go 008, send contract. Now, how granular do you want to get here? Do you want to know that they opened the contract? Do you want to know that they signed the contract? Do you want to know, what do you want to know, right? And we can use that as part of the customer journey. If somebody opened the contract, technically they moved forward. So let's do that. Let's go 009, contract viewed. And then we're going to go 010, contract signed. Okay. And now once the contract signed, maybe you need to send them an invoice, or maybe you need to, send them a link where they can go and buy the product. Whatever the case may be, each use case is going to be unique. So we're going to do contract signed. And in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to do invoice sent. So we're going to do 011, send invoice, and then 012 is invoice paid. Now, invoice paid, in my opinion, is closed one. So I'm going to just get rid of this, and I'm going to put it right here. Okay. So there is our customer journey pipeline for this particular example. Now let's go and create it. So we're going to go over here into our opportunities, and we're going to go opportunities. We're going to go add a pipeline. We're going to go create a new pipeline here. First, we're going to give our pipeline a name. So let's do that. We called it the sales/lead gen pipeline. So we're going to go and add sales/lead gen pipeline. And then we're going to go and we're going to copy each one of these stages, and we're going to put it in one at a time. Now, something that's really, really interesting and a little bit annoying here is that if you want to go back and add a pipeline stage, especially when you use our numbering convention like this, it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, because what you actually have to do is create the next pipeline stage, which is by default going to create it at the bottom of the list, but you can use these arrows like this to move it up and down. So as you can guess, if we've got 12 stages and we create a 13th stage, you've got to bump that up a bunch of times, which is why, again, we talk about sharpening our axe and making sure that we map this stuff out appropriately so that we don't end up in that situation. We can just map it out, and then we can just go and start building once it's all mapped out. So we're going to probably get my editor to fast forward this section. All right, guys, there you have it. So there is our pipeline stage structures here. Now, a couple of things that you should probably be aware of when you're looking at what are all these buttons doing here. So these buttons are going to actually be to display or not display these stages in your dashboard. And so depending on the types of stages that you build, you can either turn them on or off, right? And so we can say, no, we don't want to show this in the pie graph because new leads, whatever. Although I would say that that's a pretty important one. Do you want to show them in the funnel breakdown in your dashboard, maybe, maybe not, right? And so you can say whether this whole funnel is going to be visible in the funnel chart or visible in the pie chart. You can also turn those things off. But for this example, I'm going to leave them all on, and we're going to hit save. And there you go, guys. We have created our first pipeline. Now, before we get into workflows and automations, I'm going to show you guys a couple of other things that you guys can do with this. Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to add an opportunity here. So I'm going to add myself. I'm already a contact in here, so it's going to grab the information. I'm not going to put my phone number in here. And then you can create the opportunity in the pipeline in any stage that you want. So we're going to say, yep, we're in the lead gen pipeline and we're in the new lead stage. The status is open, and let's just say the opportunity value here is $5,000. You can assign an owner. Now, this needs to be a user that's in the system, which we talked about in a previous video on setting up your users. We can assign an owner. We can also assign a follower. And so what a follower is somebody who's not necessarily directly assigned to the contact, but needs to know what's going on with the contact and be able to view that contact. So we can add followers here as well. In this particular use case, we don't have any followers because I'm the only one in this sub account. Okay. Do we want to add business name to this? Do we want to add the opportunity source? Maybe, maybe not. Let's go RM marketing. That is the business name. And the opportunity source was Facebook lead. Let's just pretend all of those things. And now we're going to hit create. So now this opportunity has been created in this pipeline stage, status open. And now you can see here I am right here with the opportunity value. Now the opportunity value in your pipeline is going to directly correlate to your dashboard. Okay, so if we go into the dashboard now, we can see that we've got one total opportunity. It's open, and the lead potential value is $5,000 Canadian. Currently, we have a $0 and 0% conversion ratio because this opportunity has not gone into closed won yet. And so how do we actually make it do that? Well, if we click on the opportunity, we can come down here and we can change the status to open, lost, won, or abandoned. Okay. I pretty much never use abandoned. It's either going to be open, lost, or won. So we're actively working this lead. We lost the deal or we closed the deal, right? So if we go and we select closed won and we update that opportunity, we can now go back to our dashboard here and we will see that we have one opportunity. It's won. And the potential value is 5K. The actual value is also 5K. And so there you go, guys. That's kind of how your dashboard and your opportunity pipelines work. Now, there's a couple of other things that you can do here. You can actually, this is a great example. You notice that my opportunity card disappeared. Well, where did it go? Well, advanced filters are something that you're going to probably use an awful lot with your pipelines. And so right now, we've got a filter on here that is looking for status is open. But obviously, we just won my opportunity, so the status is no longer open. So we can either clear all filters and we can see there's the opportunities right there, and this one is a one opportunity. We can also filter by a ton of different stuff. So we can filter by owner, and you can select multiples here. We can filter by ands or ors. So is it owned by Adam or is it owned by someone else? You can filter all that. Let's just do the and filters here for now. We can do and the status is won, or the status is lost, or the status is open. So let's just say we want to see everything that applies to Adam. And there you go. You can set all of these filters up here. You can do campaign type, which we don't have campaigns right now, so we're not going to worry about that. Last stage change date is, we can look at, hey, has anybody moved in the last 7 days? Or did they move yesterday? You can filter by all of these different functions and stats. So again, I highly recommend that you take your time and you go through some of these things. You set some things up, you break some things, and you figure out what's working and what's not working for you in terms of your pipeline. So there is your advanced filters. Now, there's another thing that you can do, and that is to view it, instead of using the Kanban type view like this, you can actually view this in list view like this. So if you click over here, you can see all of your opportunities in a list view like so, and then you can search for your opportunities using the search bar here, and you can also manage which fields you want to actually see on the opportunity cards right here. Now, if you guys are watching this, in 2 years, probably the UI looks a little bit different. But one thing that I've learned in the high-level ecosystem is while the UI might change, the operational components of these things have virtually stayed exactly the same. And so bear that in mind. If you're watching this video in a couple of years from now and this doesn't look the same, that's probably why. So there you go, guys. That is your opportunities tab. Obviously, we covered the sharpening the axe for this as well as actually building and developing and viewing your opportunities inside the opportunities tab. Hey guys, I hope you found that video useful and helpful for you getting your company set up in Highlevel and getting your white label started with the Highlevel ecosystem. Now, if you're just starting out your journey in the Highlevel ecosystem, or maybe you're even an intermediate, or consider yourself an expert that just wants to know a little bit more about the Highlevel platform and how you can leverage it, I would encourage you to go and click the link in the description below this video and hop into our GHL Mastery program. What do we do inside of our GHL Mastery program? Well, we have 5 calls every single day of the week, Monday through Friday, for 2 hours a day, where we actually help you get into your system, help you build, help you troubleshoot, and just overall help elevate your overall skill set on the Highlevel platform. So if you're interested in getting hands-on every single day support, plus a couple of bonus goodies, snapshots, AI systems, the like, then go ahead and click the link below to join our GHL Mastery VIP group. And I promise you, you will learn more in 1 month than you will in 6 months doing this on your own. We will see you in the next one. Take care.